At 6:30, we'll call the meeting to order. If you'll all rise, we'll start with the prayer. Dear God, as this session opens, we pray that your presence will be before us and everyone who serves in the decision-making process of our city. We pray for direction which will lead our city to be strong and unified. May we continue the legacy of our founders. May we be granted this day the wisdom to make decisions which will be good for our city. We also pray for your special blessing on all those who are working to transform our city and make it a better place to live and work. Amen. Now, Fraternal will do the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Would the clerk please call the roll?
Councilor Elliott.
Here.
Mayor Kennedy.
Here.
Councilor Leahy.
Here.
Councilor Leary.
Here.
Councilor Mercier.
Here.
Councilor Milanazzo.
Here.
Councilor Rourke.
Here.
Councilor Samaras.
Here.
Councilor Belanger.
Here.
9 present.
The chair would like to recognize Councilor Mercier.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I'd like to offer a moment of silence in Docking Chamber for Dr. John J. Doc Janis, Jr. John was born in Lowell and was the son of the former state representative and mayor of the city of Lowell, the late John J. Janis and the late Nellie Janis. He graduated from Lowell High School before pursuing his education in the medical field, graduating from the Massachusetts College of Pharmacy in Boston before attending Tufts University. John then graduated from Creighton University School of Medicine in Omaha, Nebraska. He returned to Lowell, where he completed his internship at St. Joseph's Hospital. Doc practiced family medicine in Lowell for many years with his daughter Rosemary, a family nurse practitioner who continues to practice locally. Dr. Janis was enlisted with the United States Army Reserve for over 20 years, retiring as a colonel. He dedicated his career to the medical field and practiced as a family physician in Lowell since 1960. Dr. Janis was also the City of Lowell physician and the Lowell High School football team physician, as well as a member of the Board of Health. He also practiced as a pharmacist while attending medical school. He also was a communicant of the Immaculate Conception Church in Lowell and a member of the Long Meadow Golf Club, where he leaves behind many, many friends. He is survived by his 5 children. He is also the grandfather of 8. He will be truly missed by his entire family and many friends. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilor Mercier. Councilor Milanazzo.
Thank you, Mayor Kennedy. I'd like to offer a moment of silence in Docking Chambers for Bessie Samaras, the beloved mother of our colleague, William Bill Samaras. Mrs. Samaras passed away on New Year's Day, January 1st, at the age of 99 years old. She was married to the late Andrew Henry Samaras, with whom she was married to for 65 years. She and Henry owned Henry's Day dry goods store over on Bridge Street for over 25 years, which we remember as a local landmark. She was very devoted to her church, the Holy Trinity Greek Orthodox Church in Lowell. She was also part of the Daughters of Penelope and the Philippitakis Society. She is survived, as I mentioned, by our colleague Bill Samaras, but also by her daughter-in-law Joyce, 2 grandsons, William J. Samaras, police officer, I believe, in the city of Boston, and Christopher Samaras, who's our director of community development here. Also, she had 2 devoted great-grandchildren, Caroline Samaras and Audrey Samaras. I remember Mrs. Samaras as being very much a people person. In fact, her favorite line was, quote, "Let's have lunch together." And right up until her passing on January 1st, she was actually trying to organize family and friends to have dinner at the Olympia, have lunch at the Olympia. So, Bill, on behalf of our colleagues, we want to wish you our most sincerest condolences on the loss of your mother. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you, Councilor Milanazzo. Councilor Rourke.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I'd like to offer a moment of silence in Docking Chambers for Wanda Rurak. Wanda Rurak was a well-respected member of the Polish community in Lowell. She passed on December 26, 2015. She lived an incredible, inspiring life. She was the beloved wife of Tadeusz Rurak for 65 years before his passing in 2009. Mrs. Rurak was born in Miori, Poland on September 29th, 1923, and was the daughter of the late Joseph and Eugenia Rodowitz. She resided in Miori along with her parents and two brothers, Henrik and Olgrid, until September 1939 invasions of Poland by the German and Russians, triggering World War II. Her father, who was the mayor of Miori, was arrested and killed by the Soviets. Mrs. Rurak was 16 years old when she and her family were deported to a camp in Russia and subsequently transferred to Siberia. She spent the next 3 years in a concentration camp in Siberia, working as a laborer, carrying buckets of cement for bricklayers, while living in deplorable conditions and receiving minimal food rations. During this difficult period of time, she took on the responsibility of taking care of her brothers and mother, who became ill and later died in Siberia. After the agreement signed in 1942 between the Polish government in exile and the Soviet Union to liberate Polish prisoners of war, Mrs. Rurak and her brothers were released and transported from Siberia to Iran. Prior to arriving in Iran, while in a military staging camp in Asia, Mrs. Rurak met her husband-to-be Tadeusz, who was an officer in the Polish army. While in Iran, Mrs. Rurak volunteered as a nurse's assistant and was assigned to a Polish orphanage. Shortly afterwards, she enlisted in the Polish army to be closer to her brothers and her soon-to-be future husband. Her tour of duty included stays in Iraq, Palestine, Egypt, and Italy, where she and Captain Tadeusz Rurak were married with full military regalia. After the conclusion of the war, her husband's regiment was sent to England, where her first son, Zbigniew, was born. For her service during World War II, England awarded her the Italy Star, Defense Medal, and War Medal, and from her native Poland, she received the Polish War Medal. In 1948, Mrs. Rurak and her family moved to the United States and settled in Lowell, where her son Tadeusz was born. As her sons grew older, Mrs. Rurak went to work at first Robert Leonard Dress Factory in Lowell and was later employed at the Raytheon Corporation in South Lowell until her retirement. She was an active communicant of the Holy Trinity Polish Roman Catholic Church, a member of the Holy Trinity Senior Citizens Organization, Polish Cultural Committee, Polish National Alliance, and the Dom Polski. For many years, she volunteered helping making Polish food for the Lowell Folk Festival or to support her parish. She enjoyed gardening, blueberry, strawberry picking, and meeting her friends for lunch. Mrs. Rurak and her husband enjoyed traveling, dancing, entertaining their friends, and observing Polish traditions. She savored the opportunity of cooking traditional Polish foods, and no one could leave her dining room table without having seconds or multiple servings. Most importantly, she cherished and loved spending her time with her family and was extremely proud of her grandchildren and great-grandsons. For those who knew her, she was a lovely, special, warm, generous, caring, loving, and selfless woman. The Ruraks were blessed to have her as part of their lives for all those years. Mrs. Rurak is survived by her two sons, Zbigniew T. Rurak and his wife Elizabeth of London, England, Tadeusz Rurak and his wife Jean of Lowell, three grandchildren, Mark Rurak and his wife Katie of Lowell, Stefan Rurak, Brooklyn, New York, and Ania Rurak of Manhattan, New York. Three great-grandsons, Ryan, Luke, and Matthew, all of Lowell, one niece, Sherry Underwood, and one nephew, Christopher Underwood. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you, Counselor. Please rise. Okay, the first order of business would be to acceptance of the minutes of the Substance Abuse Subcommittee of December 15, 2015, and for the minutes for the City Council meeting of December 15, 2015. The Chair would entertain a motion to accept. We have a motion to accept from Council Milanazzo, seconded by Council Rourke. Discussion, all in favor? All opposed? So voted. The next order of business are motion responses from the city manager. We'll take them alphabetically, which has been, so we'll start with, if there's no objection, so we'll start with response A, a letter of thanks. Councilor Elliott?
No, after the motions, Mr. Mayor, I was going to request to suspend the rules to take an item out of order, considering we have a member of the general court here.
Okay. All right, is there any discussion for item A? Council Milonazo? Okay. Council Samaras?
Thank you, Mayor Kennedy. I just want to thank the city manager and his staff for doing this letter. This letter acknowledges the work of John Power. The smokestack that he turned into a 256-foot Christmas tree certainly deserves to be noted. And I think that it's important that we as councilors should acknowledge when someone works to improve the quality of life in this city, and he most certainly did that. So I'm thankful. I think the letter is outstanding and should be sent to Mr. Power. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Counselor. Any other discussion on item A? Seeing none, we'll move on to item B, no parking signs on Charles Street. Counselor Mercia.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Mayor. I'd like to make a comment and contribute to this item B and say that I'm very grateful to the city manager for having the signs put up so quickly, and the Mr. and Mrs. Dragon are very appreciative as well. One of their drivers that came in to unload something, the cars were parked so close that they couldn't get out, and the man kind of like sideswiped one. So that's very good for their business to help them that way. They've been faithful people in the city all these years, business people. They have a good contribution to that strip mall there on Central Plaza, and so this is very helpful to them, and they're very grateful. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you, Counselor. Any more discussion on item B? Hearing none, we'll move on to item C, pedestrian traffic signal at the corner of Mammoth Road and 4th Avenue. Counselor Leahy.
Sure. Through you to the manager. So it must be fixed by now.
Thank God it is, yes. We went out and fixed it, and I guess the part was defective, so we called them, they went out and they fixed it again. We checked yesterday, and it is operating. And in the gentleman who sent the email, I also think he verified that it is in operation right now.
Okay. Thank you very much.
Okay, any other discussion on item C? Hearing none, the chair would entertain a motion to accept the motion responses from the city manager and place them on file.
So moved.
So moved by Councilor Mercia, seconded by Councilor Milonazo. Discussion, all in favor, all opposed? So voted. Councilor Elliott?
Excuse me, thank you, Mr. Mayor. I'd like to request a suspension of rules to take an item on that's later on the agenda. Item 7.7, this is a joint motion filed by you and you, Mr. Mayor, and myself regarding a resolution to support legislation. This is relative to natural gas leaks. I know that we have State Senator Eldridge here to join us, so I'd ask the indulgence of my colleagues.
Okay. Councilor Elliott has moved for suspension of the rules in order to take item 7.7 out of order.
Second.
We have a second for that. Any discussion? All in favor, all opposed? So we'll take that out of order. 7.7 is a motion by Councilor Elliott and myself that requests that the City Council discuss the resolution to support legislation for House Bills 2870 and 2871 regarding natural gas leaks in the city. And I think we have several speakers registered for this item.
First speaker is Senator Jamie Eldridge.
Well, good evening, Mr. Mayor, the Lowell City Council, and I want to thank Councilor Elliott for asking for this joint resolution to be held before other matters. And I just want to say it's an honor to be here before the Lowell City Councilor. It's also great to be here before my former House colleague, City Manager Murphy. I just wanted to be here to provide a little bit of context to the resolution regarding gas leaks legislation that's pending before the legislature. And I will say you have an extremely strong advocate for this bill with the House Chair of the Joint Committee on Telecommunications, Utilities, and Energy here in Lowell, Representative Thomas Golden. So I've talked to him about this bill. And just to give a brief background is that the legislature last session took up legislation to address the fact that there are literally hundreds of thousands of gas leaks across the Commonwealth of Massachusetts. They particularly tend to occur in older cities, and I know here in the city of Lowell, just looking at some of the mapping that's been done by the utilities, it's a particular issue here in Lowell. And the district I represent in the city of Marlborough, it's been a big issue. So again, it tends to be cities where there's a larger number of leaks throughout a more dense area. So the legislation that passed last session was basically to make sure the utility industry was properly cataloging and capturing the fact that these gas leaks were happening across Massachusetts, and then coming up with a plan for how they were going to seal these leaks, as well as to establish grades for how serious those leaks were. So grade 1, which are leaks that are of immediate harm to humans, and they must be fixed immediately. Grade 2 is potential harm to human beings, and those were to be fixed within 12 months. And then grade 3, which were gas leaks, but uncertain what kind of harm they may have to individuals. So the legislation charged utility industry with not only coming up with a proper documentation of these leaks, but also, again, a plan and working closely with the Department of Public Utilities, and particularly highlighting gas leaks that were near public schools, which understandably is something that is a priority for all of us. So that is what happened last session, and unfortunately, there were parts of the bill last session, and there were efforts that did not pass into law last session. And so I worked with Representative Lori Ehrlich on the House side to file legislation which includes Senate Bill 1767 and Senate 1768, which it's my understanding that this is the resolution that you, Mr. Mayor, and Councilor Elliott have asked for consideration for the council to endorse. And very briefly, 1767 would address the fact that grade 3 leaks were not addressed in terms of when they would be sealed when there are road projects going on. And it really is a common sense issue, is that if our roads are going to be ripped up to fix, other problems going on underneath the road, or just general pavement jobs, the utility industry should be working closely with the city and often the Department of Public Works to make sure that all leaks are sealed, including grade 3 leaks. So this bill would require the utility industry work closely with the city agency or public utility, Public Works Department in any community, including here in Lowell. And then the second bill, Senate 1768, deals with the fact that, unfortunately, right now, what the utility industry can do is that they can charge the cost for sealing these leaks right back to all of us, the ratepayers. I happen to think that's a very unfair thing, because I think that should already be their job of utility industry to seal these leaks. It seems strange to me that they would be able to add on to what is, to many communities, already high electricity or utility rates to just do what, in my opinion, they were already supposed to do. So what this bill would do is it would prohibit utilities from being able to charge ratepayers the cost of repairing these leaks, whether it's grade 1, grade 2, or grade 3, and making it clear that this is the job of the utility industry in the first place, and they cannot charge additionally for the sealing of these leaks. So I think that's an issue that is not only an environmental issue and addresses things like climate change, but it's also a pocketbook issue for ratepayers across Massachusetts, including here in Lowell. So I greatly appreciate the Mayor and Councilor Elliott's consideration of this resolution, and I will say that other communities, including the City of Boston, have endorsed these bills, and I think it would be very helpful and send a strong message to the legislature if this resolution were passed tonight.
Thank you, Senator. And on behalf of the council, we want to thank you for taking the time to come up here. I know that this is not your district to speak on this legislation, as you are the co-sponsor of the legislation. Do we have other speakers? Thank you.
Great. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Derek Palat.
Hi, City Councilor. Senator Aldrich seems to have found my talking points before, so if I repeat anything he said, please excuse me. I want to thank all the councilors for meeting and talking with us about gas leaks over the last several weeks, and for the city manager passing along the report from National Grid on their findings of local gas leaks. That was extremely helpful for making sure we knew what we were talking about. And for what it's worth, I've enjoyed working with the councilor on local environmental matters, and I'm looking forward to getting to know the new Councilman Leary. in the year ahead. So thank you all. To start, supporting House Bills 2870 and 2871 by voting yes on this resolution is an important one because it demonstrates that the council is committed to maintaining the reliability of critical infrastructure in our city. You'll be publicly demonstrating your commitment to reducing Lowell's carbon footprint, and our pipelines are a particularly easy one to fix and one that should be maintained on a regular basis anyway. Also, being in the district with the head of the Telecommunications, Utility, and Energy Committee, Tom Golden, as our representative, our opinion and our action on this matter will influence how the entire statewide natural gas pipeline system is cared for. And if we make this legislation we are asking you to support a reality in the State House, we will help spur a dramatic reduction of our statewide carbon footprint, as well as save millions of dollars for ratepayers not just in Lowell, but across the state as well. And finally, and I've mentioned this to several of the councilors before, but because this resolution will not fix the leaks under our roads right now, which means they'll continue to spew gas into the air, wasting our money and our health, I would like to suggest for your consideration that the council create an investigative committee to determine if there's any course of action the city can take forcing the gas companies to fix these leaks now rather than waiting for a statewide mandate. And if your gut reaction is to say that we probably can't, it's out of our jurisdiction, I would just urge you to find in yourself the conviction to exhaust all options first. And those of us who have been pressing this issue run off that kind of burning conviction that it might be difficult or impossible to do something, but we should all be trying to. And we definitely need to answer the question, can we fix these leaks now? I strongly urge a yes vote in favor of this resolution, and I look forward to working with all of you this year. Thank you.
Thank you.
Dan Tuttle.
Hey, y'all. You mind bearing with me for a moment? I'm trying something new, using a bit of science this time. Okay. Can everyone hear me okay? No, there's no one up there. Yeah? Great. So all the folks in this room, back here, up here, out there, and a whole lot of us who couldn't be here with us tonight have done some really fantastic work in this community. We've been hosting a film series at the Luna Theater to show real people the impacts of climate change and their work to resist it across the world. We've passed local legislation that puts pressure on our state government to divest its funds from the rapacious fossil fuel industry. We've fostered rich community gardens and year-round farm market programs, bringing fresh, culturally diverse local food from our people to our people. You probably all feel a but coming here. However, if this community really cares about preventing catastrophic climate change, which we all do, it's why we're here, we need to do more. If we have a true commitment to our beautiful and diverse immigrant culture, we have an obligation to stand with our brothers, sisters, and siblings of the global South, some of whom are dying right now due to the effects of climate change. We need to do more. A few weeks ago, an international conference of leaders in Paris made an agreement to create solutions which will prevent the warming of our planet by more than 4.6 degrees Fahrenheit over the next 10 to 15 years. You can think of that as sort of a limit for safe consumption. If we're going to hold true to this agreement, we need to pursue solutions, and we need to do it fast. We need to inform ourselves on the power of community solar programs. We need to get you all out in our streets on bicycles so you can understand firsthand how important it is to drastically expand our walking and bicycling infrastructure to get people out of their cars. We need affordable housing now so that we can keep the people doing the jobs in this community. And maybe most importantly of all, we need to resist all new fossil fuel infrastructure, including the Kinder Morgan gas pipeline, which as it stands now is going to rip up our beautiful Lowell Drake at Tingsboro State Forest. Stay tuned for more on that. Getting these leaks fixed, it's super important. We can bring our carbon emissions down by as much as 10% across the state if we take care of this, and that's tons and tons of greenhouse gases. It's a big deal. But the truth is, none of the people who have been working on this, none of the organizations that have signed on approving this bill, none of the people in Lowell think that this is enough, that fixing gas leaks is enough. I mean, when history looks back and it asks itself, what were people doing when there was still time to deal with this? We're not going to be the ones who have to look at ourselves and say we weren't doing anything, and neither neither should y'all. So we'll be in touch. Thanks.
Nicole Wilcott.
Hello. Thank you for having me here tonight to speak to you guys. This is my first time speaking like this, so I'm pretty nervous, but bear with me. So as I said, my name is Nicole, and I'm here with the passing of the House bills of 2870 and 2871, along with my colleagues from 350 Mass of Greater Lowell. I haven't physically lived in Lowell all my life, but I have spent some time within the city. As a young girl, I went to church called Community Christian Fellowship, located on Princeton Boulevard. There they did their best to teach us how a chain reaction of good can have a lasting effect on any community, really. So instilling such a belief into my young mind has drawn me to groups such as Litter Free Lowell, that we started recently, and 350 Mass, who not only serve to make this historic city of Lowell a respectable place to live, but also serve as a voice to protect our planet. Over the last few months, we've presented you with the facts such as how gas leaks pollute our air, jeopardize our safety, and cost our residents money. As the leaders of this city, you have graciously listened to our proposal and have been wise to consider this opportunity to work on cleaning the air for not only the children walking to school every day, or for the UML athletes who row competitively on the Great Merrimack River, or even for those enjoying a hearty brew in the beautiful downtown area, but also for yourselves and your families. Thank you.
Thank you. The chair would entertain a motion on the resolution, and it's my understanding, at least from the remarks that Senator Eldridge made, that rather than the references, rather than House Bills 2870 and 2871, it should be Senate 1767 and 1768. Is that correct?
Yeah, Mr. Mayor, I say all of them because it's just the House and Senate version, so all four of those bills.
Okay. So the chair would entertain a motion on that. Councilor Elliott.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. So I think the speakers, as well as Senator Eldridge, raised significant issues and the importance of supporting these bills via resolution. And I know, Mr. Mayor, I know this is not a new issue on this floor, and you've tried to work with the utility, and I think we need to sort of take the same approach that we do with the double poles. Put pressure on them, support legislation. I mean, I truly think this is, it's a safety issue. We know there's 118 gas leaks in the city, and the utility is doing little to nothing about it. They're giving us little information, no response, and being resistant to our concerns. And of course, they don't really care about it because they don't have to pay for it. It's the consumers that are paying for it. So I think this is an important step that we take. There are a number of other communities, as Senator Eldridge had mentioned, the city of Boston and larger urban communities, as well as the suburbs. I think a number of us have met with this organization, 350, and I think they raised a good point that they're doing their job, a strong grassroots effort, and I urge my colleagues to support this because this is what we need to protect the community, certainly the environment, but also the cost that's being passed on to consumers. So I guess I'd make a friendly amendment to include both Senate Bill 1767 and 1768 as part of the motion, and to include that as part of the resolution that the law department could
The chair would point out, and it is a motion that you and I filed, is that the motion is to discuss the resolution. And so maybe if we want more action on this, we need to change the motion to a motion to endorse both pieces of legislation and ask that the mayor's office to, put together a resolution to that effect. Is that a motion that you'd be interested in making, Councilor Elliott?
It's a good motion, Mr. Mayor. Yeah, I'll make that motion. I think it does make sense to have the mayor's office, in conjunction with the law department, prepare a resolution to endorse the two bills in the motion and the two Senate bills as well.
Okay, we have a motion by Councilor Elliott. Do we have a second to the motion? Seconded by Councilor Mercia. Any discussion on the motion? Councilor Milanazzo.
Thank you, Mayor Kennedy. We actually do have in our packets a resolution in support of the legislation to fix the gas leaks, but it only references the House side, I believe, so.
I think if you read on in that resolution too, that resolution was geared for Framingham, for the
Okay,
town of
yes,
Framingham,
okay.
so
We'll
we'd
use
want
that.
ours to be a little bit different, I think.
Great, thank you.
Okay. Any other discussion? Council Mercy?
Yes, thank you, Mr. Mayor. I'd like to thank Derek as well for taking the time to meet with all of the council to go over the issues so that we would be not just sitting here hearing people talk, but be aware of what they were going to be speaking about, because there are two very important issues here. One is safety, as everyone is concerned about, but also financial. And when gas leaks are occurring, I never realized that we all pay a part of that, and I'm very upset about that. I didn't realize it. No wonder my money is being burnt up into the environment, and I'm not happy about that. And I also want to thank Senator Aldrich for coming down here and taking your time to do that. I'm just happy to support all that is before us this evening. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Council. Any more discussion? Council Leahy?
Thank you. I just want to echo the remarks that we want to thank the senator and the speakers for coming down. And when you do read through the resolution, even though it's for another town, but, you know, it makes a lot of sense. And Councilor Mercy is right. I mean, we pay for all these, you know, it's like a free checkbook for them. They just go on with their daily business, and their losses, they just distribute it throughout the year, and we all pay for it. So we need to put a stop to that, and we need to put a stop to the gas leaks and take them serious. So, thank you.
Okay, Councilor Elliott?
Yeah, so we mentioned cities. Boston is one of them, but even our neighbor, Chelmsford, Brookline, Arlington, Cambridge, Framingham, Newton, Northampton, Pittsfield, Somerville, Arlington, Waltham have all, passed a resolution to support this gas leak resolution. So,
Okay.
joining a good group of cities and towns.
Any other discussion? Okay, hearing none. All in favor of the motion? All opposed? So voted. Okay, if we could, the chair would ask for suspension. Well, no, I guess we're okay. The next order of business is a communication from the city manager to accept the resignation of Patrick T. McCartan from the Election Commission.
Move approval.
We have a motion to accept the communication and place it on file by Council Elliott. We have a second by Council Leary. Discussion, all in favor, so voted. Next order of business is a communication from the city manager to appoint Beverly Anthus to the Election Commission for the unexpired term of Patrick T. McCartan.
Move approval.
We have a motion by Councilor Mercy to approve, second by Councilor Leary. Discussion on the motion?
Yes.
Councilor Mercy?
I'd like to discuss and add some support for this, because I know the person that is being brought up to us this evening and appointed, who has been an excellent person in the community. I've known her for many years, I will not deny that, and she works where I happen to vote, and so I see firsthand the dedication that she has for this particular purpose with the elections and the different, all the duties that she has to perform. She does a superb job, and I'm very proud and honored to accept this appointment. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Councilor Mercy. Any other discussion? Okay, all in favor? All opposed? Oh, roll call on this, excuse me.
Councilor Elliott.
Yes.
Mayor Kennedy.
Yes.
Councilor Leahy.
Yes.
Councilor Leary.
Yes.
Councilor Mercier.
Yes.
Councilor Milonazo.
Yes.
Councilor Rourke.
Yes.
Councilor Samaras.
Yes.
Councilor Belanger.
Yes.
That's 9 yeas.
Okay, so voted. Mr. Manager?
Thank you, through you, Mayor. I'd ask Beverly Anthony to come up to the podium and just introduce yourself, and thank you for your service to the city. That we're going to expect a lot of you.
Thank you to the city manager for appointing me. It's a great honor. And thank you all, the council, for doing the same. And I've been doing it for about 5-6 years at the Riley School, and I always enjoy, and I have a great team that helps us out. And so I look forward to this new challenge, and I thank my husband, George, for being here tonight, and my daughter, Pam, who never comes down from New Hampshire, but she did tonight. And to my dear friends who are here tonight supporting me, and to Cliff Krieger for always giving me the encouragement as the head of the city committee here in Lowell, the Republican City Committee. And he's encouraged me all the time, and he'll be looking over my shoulder, I'm sure. So I thank you all, and it's been a pleasure, and I look forward to it. Thank you.
Excuse me, does that mean we have to refer to her as Madam Commissioner now? Oh, my goodness.
Just her husband.
Thank you all.
Thank you.
I really
Thank you.
appreciate it. It's been fun. Thank you.
Next order of business is a communication to reappoint Robert Malovich to the Planning Board. Any discussion? Motion to approve. Motion approved by Council Milonazo, second by Council Leahy. This requires a roll call vote as well. Clerk will please call the roll.
Counselor Elliott.
Yes.
Mayor Kennedy.
Yes.
Counsel Leahy.
Yes.
Counsel Leary.
Yes.
Counsel Mercia.
Yes.
Counsel Milonazo.
Yes.
Counsel Rourke.
Yes.
Counsel Samaras.
Yes.
Counsel Belanger.
Yes.
It's 9 yeas.
So voted. Next order of business is a communication to reappoint Rosalind J. Willie Bonglo to the LHA as the tenant representative. Chair would entertain a motion to approve. We have a motion to approve by Council Mercia, second by Council Milonazo. Discussion. This requires a roll call vote as well.
Counselor Elliott.
Yes.
Mayor Kennedy.
Yes.
Counsel Leahy.
Yes.
Counsel Leary.
Yes.
Counsel Mercia.
Yes.
Counsel Milonazo.
Yes.
Counsel Rourke.
Yes.
Counsel Samaras.
Yes.
Counsel Belanger.
Yes.
That's 9 yeas.
Okay, the next order of business is vote to apply, accept, and expend $12,500 for the Green Communities Grant from the Massachusetts Division of Energy Resources and the Green Communities Division. Second reading would be by title. If the motion to waive the full reading first. We have a motion by Council Leahy, second by Council Leary to waive the full reading. Discussion, all in favor, all opposed, so voted. And so we have, on the second reading, is authorizing the city manager to apply for and to accept and expend a competitive grant from the Massachusetts Division of Energy Resources and Green Communities Division. Chair would entertain a motion to approve. Council Leary approves, second by Council Leahy. Discussion, all in favor, or this is a roll call vote as well. The clerk will call the roll.
Counselor Elliott. Mayor Kennedy.
Yes.
Counsel Leahy.
Yes.
Counsel Leary.
Yes.
Counsel Mercia.
Yes.
Counsel Milonazo.
Yes.
Counsel Rourke.
Yes.
Counsel Samaras.
Yes.
Counsel Belanger.
Yes.
8 yeas.
So voted. Next item of business, 4.1, is a communication from the city manager requesting approval of a constable bond for Darrell C. Hines. This needs a roll call vote. It requires 5 votes. We have a motion to approve
Move approve.
by Counsel Rourke, second by Counsel Samaras. Discussion, and clerk will call the roll.
Counselor Elliott.
Yes.
Mayor Kennedy.
Yes.
Counsel Leahy.
Yes.
Counsel Leary.
Yes.
Counsel Mercia.
Yes.
Counsel Milonazo.
Yes.
Counsel Rourke.
Yes.
Counsel Samaras.
Yes.
Counsel Belanger.
Yes.
9 yeas.
Next, we have a petition and a first reading. Okay. Before we go there, item 5, are there any subcommittee reports? There are none on the agenda, but does anybody have a subcommittee report that they would like to give? Chair sees none. We'll move on to item 6, which is a petition. This will be the first reading for National Grid and Verizon Northeast to request permission to relocate a pole at the intersection of Broadway Street and Madonna Circle. And this would be referred to a public hearing for January 19th, 2016 at 7 p.m. We have a motion to do, I think the manager wants to be heard on this. Is that correct?
Thank you, through you, Mayor. This is a pole location in order for us to replace the Broadway Bridge. I know we've all had frustrations with National Grid and Verizon, but this, I think, we should push forward because it's really necessary to relocate the utilities so that we can repair that bridge and get traffic flowing again on Broadway.
Okay, Councilor Elliott?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. So, Mr. Manager, once this pole is moved, will there be construction? Will we see construction on that?
Yes, construction will be following soon thereafter, but this is the initial step to make sure that they can start that.
That's good news.
Yep.
Thank you.
Council Mercia.
I was going to say scat to this motion, but I will refrain from any talking. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Any other discussion? All in favor? All opposed? Oh. Okay. Yeah, do we have a motion to refer to a public hearing?
So moved.
So moved by Council Elliott, seconded by Council Leary. Discussion, all in favor, all opposed, so voted. Next, we come to council motions. Item 7.1 is a motion by Council Leahy to request the city manager of the proper department explore establishing a minimum standard of habitability for all commercial and residential properties in the city. Motion seconded by Council Leary. Council Leahy.
Thank you, Your Honor. This motion sort of speaks for itself, but I thought a good way to start off the year after discussions with the manager would be to, we could come up with some sort of minimum standards for both commercial and residential. After what we did out the Mark I company for the neighborhood, it's quite an improvement. So with reference to that, I thought we could go off of that and start the new year off with some sort of resolution for the whole city. So, thank you.
Okay, thank you. Council Belanger and then Council Mercia.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I think this is a great motion by Council Leahy. I think this is a good way to combat also potential illegal activity that may be going on in a residential home, where I'm dealing with a constituent now in South Lowell, where a nice, quiet, dead-end street that I know very well. I've been going there all my life, and it has really been turned upside down by new residents that have moved in. They suspect drugs, they suspect gang activity, and the maintenance has really dilapidated. There's trash, so I think this is a way to combat illegal and gang activity in households as well. So I support, I think it's a good motion by Council Leahy. Thank you.
Thank you, Council Belanger. Council Mercia.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I know that we have a minimum maintenance standard of your home. We do have that. And I also thought there was a motion, an ordinance already for how many people could live in the property. Of course, your family, and in numbers from probably 2 people to probably 12. I know everybody doesn't have the same amount of children. But I thought that when you had, whether it was a business or a resident, that there were so many cars per structure when you build condos. And the reason I'm saying that is because I know on Concord Street, and I don't know how to look this up, but there's a property, a condo unit on the corner of Concord Street and Rogers Street. And in order to have people living there, they had so many cars per unit, and they were required to park within their structure. And now it seems that they're just taking over the whole street, so they're not parking where they're supposed to. And I know everybody owns the street, but neighbors are calling me saying where we once were able to park on the street, now we can't do that. The people that are living in these condos are now not parking in their structure, they're parking out on the street. So I wish we could look into that as well, coupled with this resurgence of this motion. I think we have something, so if the solicitor could look into this, because I think we have such a ordinance already, but it wouldn't hurt to look into it again. It's very hard to enforce where people are saying, well, my relatives have a right to stay with me for a while, but yet the car has got New Hampshire plates and it's there forever and a day, which you know downright well they're not visiting, they're living there. So it's an ordinance that we should be revisiting, and unless you have a department that is sitting there watching, it's kind of hard to enforce, but I know how frustrating it can be, so I'm glad that it was brought up again. This is important to me as well. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Council Mercer. Any more discussion? Hearing none. All in favor of the motion? All opposed? So voted. Next order of business is a motion by Council Leahy to request the city manager of the proper department prepare a report regarding buildings in the city which are in total disrepair, especially the property at the corner of Fletcher Street and Broadway Streets. Motion is seconded by Council Mercia. Council Leahy.
Thank you, Your Honor. Again, this motion, just if we could have the DPD, maybe that department, come up with a report on some of these buildings that are just frustrating to us that over the years could have been burnt out or rotting away or whatever the situation. The one building I did refer to, I haven't actually been able to drive by, but I guess the owner was able to move on with or progress, and the building is down. But the point is, you know, any building in the city, let's see what the story is again and see what we can do as a council to help speed up the process to the owners so they can repair and move on, and neighborhoods can get back to this the way they were. Thank you.
Thank you, Council Leahy. Council Mercia.
I happen to be involved with checking out this piece of property. It's 331 Broadway Street. The person that bought that property, because of its being unsafe, was required to demolish it. He wants to rebuild it, but there is a discrepancy here because he wants to build out further than he should be allowed to. He can build on the footprint, and he does not want to. He wants to build further. So there's a thing going on here. So I did check into that so we can look at this again. Thank you.
Okay. Any other discussion on the motion? Hearing none, all in favor of the motion? All opposed? So voted. Next order of business is another motion by Council Leahy requesting that the city manager of the proper department explore means to completely rehab the existing Lowell Police Headquarters, including methods of funding the same. Motion is seconded by Council Belanger. All in favor, Council Leahy.
Thank you. Thank you, Your Honor. This motion, you know, if we can explore any way to get grants, any type of funding, and then I think we are, you know, in the process of taking a look at the police station, but just to make sure that we can do what we can over there. If right now, you know, obviously we can't afford to rehab the whole building, but let's see what's out there for money. Let's see through the police department what they would expect as first steps, and we'll take it from there. And, you know, whatever's most important to them, if we can shift things around to the other precincts throughout the city and free up some space downtown, you know, whatever ideas they have, but I just want to put this on the front burner. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you, Council Leahy. Council Elliott.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. So I think it was a number of months ago, Mr. Manager, you put out to RFP a feasibility study for the new police station. Can you give us this, maybe as part of the report, an update on this, because that's going to determine what takes place over there. I think it's, you know, it's a good motion to clearly, anybody that walks over to the police station, whether they walk in or walk through, it's a disgrace. It's completely unprofessional. It's a health hazard. To me, sometimes I think it's a safety hazard. You know, the number of people that go through that building that are processed in the cell block, it's just, I don't think we need any more Band-Aids to that building. We have done them time and time again. There is a nice EO, Emergency Operations Center, and we've invested a lot of money there. We put more money into the 911 center, the dispatch center, but I think we're putting good money after bad if we just keep with the Band-Aid approach. It needs a complete overhaul, and if you could give us an update on the feasibility study and what that is going to determine, you know, the cost, the steps, and how we get there, I think that's a good approach. But I think the intent of the motion certainly is good, and it you know, we're spending a lot of money on public safety, and no one's asking for the Taj Mahal. Just decent. I mean, you have individuals being interviewed in homicide cases and criminal investigations, and you know, they have to scuttle prisoners from one section. It's also a safety hazard. So not to get into all the particulars, I know we discussed it. I think that's an important step to get a report on that study, Mr. Manager. I know the city has spent, was it 30,000 on the study? 25,000?
200,000 was
Oh, it's
authorized.
200,000
Yeah.
for that?
And
Okay,
we've-
that was part of the capital plan?
Yeah,
Okay.
very, did you want me to just, it's a very timely motion because we just had a presentation of this feasibility study relative to a new police station, and the cost is very, very high.
Right.
We've asked them to scale back the things that they could scale back in the proposal that we've asked them to do. But we'll be giving a detailed report to the city council about the results of the feasibility study.
So that study will include options because maybe you don't need new, but, I mean, is there also the thought of doing something similar that we did with the senior center? That, you know, we have a private person come in and they do the development and we lease it, and over a certain amount of years, it gets done, and it seems to have a lesser impact on the cash flow and our debt ceiling.
That's an excellent point, because based upon the presentation of the cost, we have to look into options like that, because it's just totally unaffordable as presented. So we're going to have to come up with some unique opportunities to deal with it, because we've got the high school and the police station, and it's going to be difficult to do both with the projected cost of both. So we're working hard on getting an affordable solution for it.
Great. Thank you, Mr. Manager. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Council Leahy.
Through you to the manager, I had one other question that is in the study and in the proposal. Is there anything that we can work out with the new courthouse as far as, I don't understand, like holding cells or whatever? Does that help us alleviate what we do here at the police station? So,
There was talk at one time about having a regional lockup at the judicial center, but that would help out the towns, not us. And it's something I'm totally opposed to, because if you're going to be buying a building or doing something in the Hamilton Canal, you don't want a jailhouse right next to you. So that is a proposal, but I think it's a tough idea to do it, but it would benefit the towns, not us.
okay, all right, thank you.
Councilor Elliott.
Just real quick, on the other hand, we do house, and maybe there's not a lot of students, but UMass Lowell, when there are arrests at the university, they do come to our cell block, right? So maybe there's some way we can work out an arrangement with some financial assistance from the university. Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Councilor Elliott. Any other discussion? Councilor Milonazo.
Thank you, Mayor Kennedy. Through you to the city manager. Was there talk at one time, Mr. Manager, about working with the Middlesex County Sheriff's Office to use their holding cells as well? Or am I thinking about something different?
I think unfortunately, it's the exact opposite, is that the sheriff wanted to use the new judicial center as an overnight holding cell for
which is off the
prisoners,
table.
which, quite honestly, I don't think is a good idea, because who the heck would want to live in an area where there's a jail right next to you? So we've sort of put that on the back burner.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Councilor Milonazo. Any other discussion? All in favor of the motion? Councilor Belanger? No, okay, I'm sorry. All in favor of the motion? All opposed? So voted. Next motion is a motion by Councilor Elliott to request that the city manager provide a report on status of the property at 155 Manson Street. Councilor Elliott, second by Councilor Leahy. Councilor Elliott.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. So I'm going to ask for motion to delay. We all received this email right after our last meeting, so I'm just concerned about the email and all of the information that was provided into. Is my understanding from the clerk that a petition has been filed with the clerk, so I'd ask to delay this till next week.
Okay, we have a motion to delay, a substitute motion to delay for 1 week. Seconded by Councilor Belanger. Discussion on the substitute motion to delay for 1 week. All in favor? All opposed? So voted. Next order of business is a motion by Councilor Elliott to request that the city manager have the traffic engineer address timing of lights during evening traffic at the Rourke, O'Donnell, and Howe Bridge crossings. Seconded by Councilor Mercia. Councilor Elliott.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. So I know, Mr. Manager, I've called and requested assistance on this, and it's quiet right now with the universe. I shouldn't say quiet. It's not as bad. It's not as chaotic with the university being out of session, but going over and coming back at those peak periods, I know that we're going to have some police officers stationed there. And I know I spoke to university individuals, officials about this, and they say they can't go on the highway, they can't do traffic. Their police cannot do traffic direction. I really don't understand that, but knowing the direction of the university and that student enrollment is projected to increase, we need to do something. And I know I know it's a tall order to request, but when kids are in session, when the students are in session, it's just, and I know timing isn't always the answer, but it just seems we have to improve the signalization somehow. I mean, I get frequent complaints, as I'm sure your office does, on, sitting through 5 and 6 sets of lights in order to get over. So I don't know if you have any thoughts on this. It seems if we can get them across the highway, the VFW, and I know that will perhaps mean working with the, working with the state delegation on Mass Highway, but I don't know what the solution is. Although I do remember, and I've mentioned this in the past, that at the Rourke Bridge, we were told that a device was installed at that intersection that during peak periods that it could monitor and change the timing in those lights to get more, traffic over. And maybe that's working, but the bottlenecks are on the other side, depending upon when it's going. So I know this is not new. I guess I'm just being the voice of people trying to get over and get back across the river. Thank you.
Thank you. The chair will recognize Council Belanger, and then we'll hear from the city manager on this issue. Council Belanger.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I think it's a good motion, although it's maybe somewhat repetitive. We've all been talking about this for months, and we do hear from constituents. I'm sure all the councilors have heard from more than one individuals on this matter, and it's true. But, and it's more so than the growing university. The populace of Dracut, Tingsboro, and southern New Hampshire has grown immensely in the last 10 years. And Lowell is the cut-through to get to the highway. There's nothing we can do to stop that. But it comes to what I believe the big thing of it is Councilor Elliott stated, is synchronization. They're going to the highways in the morning, and they're coming from the highways at night. I mean, I'm no traffic engineer, but I think that's the general flow of traffic. It goes one way in the morning and the other again at evening. So if we can work around that, extend the lights, going either way, I think might help alleviate the situation. So if we can include that in the report too, Mr. Manager, that would be great. But I know there's not much. Traffic is going to grow and continue to grow. But let's at least try and do all we can. But I think synchronization is a major part of this, in my opinion. So thank you very much, Mr. Mayor.
Mr. Manager.
Thank you. This is very timely. We've actually been working on about a month now on a traffic report that we're going to be giving to the City Council very soon. It includes the VFW and Bridge Street area and the bridges. And what we've been working on is we're making sure that we can install a device where the police officer actually stands at one end of the bridge during the peak traffic time, and by using this device can change the light red to green or whatever, depending on the amount of the traffic backed up. And then switch to the other side of the bridge at the other time of the day so that they can manipulate the lights dependent upon the flow of traffic. So we have been working on it. Our traffic engineer is now making sure that the lights on all 4 of the bridges can utilize this, and then we'll be employing the police officers to go out and manipulate the traffic signals so it adjusts manually to the flow of traffic. And we'll be giving that complete report to you soon, so you'll understand what we're trying to do. But we are working on it.
Thank you, Mr. Manager. Any further discussion on this motion? Council Leahy and then Councilor Elliott.
Thank you. I just wanted to ask also, but the Howe Bridge, the Fletcher Street light also, if you don't cross the bridge and you're going down Pawtucket Boulevard to go over the School Street Bridge, that light at Fletcher and So that one gets backed up. And then, so in your report, you'll have Bridge Street, because I've been traveling that way this week, and it seems like if you want to get straight across Bridge Street or go down towards Lawrence, that lane is always backed up on the right side, trying to get over there. And then if you'd like us to try the clickers out, you could give each one of us a clicker, and we'll let you know how they're working. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilor Elliott.
That's great news, Mr. Manager. I think that's going to remove a lot of angst for the people that live in Pawtuckaville and Centerville and cross that bridge, or actually throughout the city if you want to go over to the hospital. People just, avoid it at all costs, a quality of life issue. So I appreciate it very much, and that's really great news. And we know that it's not going to remove all of the problems because, as we do know, it's the secondary roads that in large part sometimes back up. But at least I think it's going to be a great help. So look forward to that presentation. Thank you.
Thank you,
Mr.
Councilor Elliott. Any further discussion on this motion? All in favor? All opposed? So voted. Next order of business is another motion by Councilor Elliott requesting that the city manager report on the status of the Wounded Warrior parking spot at City Hall. Seconded by Councilor Mercia. Councilor Elliott.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. So I need to, I guess it's more just of a clarification. Mr. Manager, I know the chairman of the Veterans Commission and the vice chair, they both came and kind of gave an update on the progress of their work in the Veterans Commission. And this was one item that was spoke of, but perhaps you can give us a report on how we go about creating such a space, or whether there's a hearing necessary, or what the criteria is. So I just put it on for members of the commission just to get an update on with. I don't think it was clear that it was a request to create this parking spot. So if you could get us a brief report on that, that'd be appreciated. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilor Elliott. Any further discussion on this issue, this motion? If not, all in favor? All opposed? So voted. Last motion of the evening is a motion by Councilor Milonazo requesting that the city manager provide a report on open and holdover seats on boards and commissions. Seconded by Councilor Rourke.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Just briefly, your administration, Mr. Manager, has done a very good job in filling open seats on boards and commission, but I just thought it would be timely for the new council to get a report from you indicating what seats are either open or holdover. So that's the reason behind the report, the motion. Thank you.
Thank you. Anybody else on this? Discuss this? All right, can we hear from the city manager?
Can I just put out one more request for anybody out there who wants to volunteer for a board to please just send me your resume. We want people, we want a diverse community on the different boards, and we welcome anybody to apply, and we'll certainly help out to get you to help out in the service of the city. So that request goes out to anybody who's interested watching tonight.
Hey, Councilor Elliott.
Thank you. So, Mr. Manager, is there a way for us to publish the list of boards that are available? Maybe the paper can do it as, in the notice section, because I think people don't know what is available out there, and hopefully that may urge people to get involved.
Mr. Manager.
Or the website.
We certainly can do it on the website, and hopefully the newspaper could do an article about the report that we give on the open seats.
Thank you.
Okay, any further discussion? Councilor Leahy.
Not on this, but something else.
Okay, on this motion, all in favor, all opposed, so voted. The agenda is concluded. Councilor Leahy, you've got an announcement.
Sure. No, I just had a question about the snowstorm. So do we need to suspend the rules, or do we just? Okay, so a motion to suspend the rules to ask about the snowstorm.
All right, motion to suspend the rules by Councilor Leahy, seconded by Councilor Leary. All in favor of the motion, all opposed? Councilor Leahy.
Thank you. Through you to the manager, just if we could just sort of get an update on how you thought the downtown area was shoveled out well. It was a small but a tough storm. We got a few emails just about the sidewalk, so not so much saying that the city didn't do enough, but maybe we have to ask business owners to do a little bit more shoveling out to the street, clearing some sidewalks just for the people who are downtown in wheelchairs or walking around with their seeing eye dogs. And then just a couple of comments on a couple of sections of town. We still have people who plow the road close to the sidewalk down, but at the edge of the street, they're leaving a huge mound of snow. And there's a couple around downtown. I didn't know if we're looking into that to tell people, you know, if you do that, thank you, but you gotta take your mound of snow away too, so. So just a, you know, you don't have to answer now, whatever, but just, okay.
Mr. Manager?
No, I've already met with Commissioner Snow and Ed Patnod of the streets, and we all agree that we did not do a good job in this snow. I mean, it was a difficult snow because we expected it to melt, but it didn't melt at all. It just froze. But we still could have done a better job. And I must say is that the street department, they set a high standard last winter, and they themselves feel bad about this storm, and they're going to make sure that it's much better in the future. So we've already taken steps to make sure that those issues are addressed.
Thank you, Mr. Manager. Any more discussion? Councilman Milonazo?
Not on this, but we're under suspension.
We should suspend the rules again. We motion to suspend the rules.
Actually, I'm just looking
second
for
by
my
Counselor
my
Rourke. All in
colleagues to
favor, all
indulge
opposed?
me
Motion is
on a
suspended.
point of personal privilege. I know my mother is home watching tonight, and today's her 85th birthday, so I'd
Okay.
like to publicly offer her a happy birthday.
And you're going to bring her a treat for her birthday, right?
Okay. No more business before us. The chair will entertain a motion to adjourn. We have a motion to adjourn by Counselor Rourke, seconded by Counselor Leahy. All in favor, all opposed, stand adjourned. Thanks. We're okay. Yeah. Thanks.